Sandy Says Read. This evening we are going to do a very quick review of Honeymoon Bite by Sharon Hamilton. Y'all remember I picked this book up at her booth, at her table, at the Ignite Your Imagination conference back in May. I believe it happened in May. Okay, so this is going to be a quick review because I am in a hurry this evening to do my next item on the to-do list. Okay, this is book 1 of the Golden Vampires of Tuscany series. I should have looked up how many books she has in that series. Maybe before I post this, I'll get that into the drop-down box below. Okay, she has a series about the Golden Vampires of Tuscany. The Golden Vampires, they have like a code, there's a council, there's like a whole like government system for these vampires. So there's a lot of world building going on for this thing, right? She's done her world building for this. Okay, this is book 1, Honeymoon Bite, by Sharon Hamilton. This one was published in 2012. It's 263 pages. So let me read the back cover for you so that you know what's going on in this book. Anne is our main character. Anne caught her husband cheating with the maid of honor before their wedding cake was cut. She decided to take her planned and paid for honeymoon in Tuscany alone. On the evening of what was to be her wedding night, she gets bitten by a female vampire. Marcus Monteleone has waited 300 years to find his fated female, only to discover her dying in his arms. He saves Anne's life by turning her, and then works to gain her trust, to cope with being a newly formed golden vampire. But when Anne finds out Marcus has not been completely truthful about his past, she vows to live as a human and shuns the vampire world. Alone and unprotected, she falls prey to the very villainess who took her human soul and who now takes the only man she's ever loved. Which lover will have to make the ultimate sacrifice to save the other before they both are lost? Okay, so this is a vampire paranormal romance. You know, I dig the vampires. I did not read every page of this book. I'm going to be honest and say so. I found that the number of sex scenes in this romance was a little bit much for me. Now, you may be fine with a whole lot of sex scenes in your romance novels, in your paranormal romance novels, and have no problem with it, okay? They weren't like lurid and torrid. They weren't bad. It just was a lot for me, okay? I'm just prefacing with that. So I did do quite a bit of skimming and skipping as I was reading, okay? But the plot for this was fantastic. The very first paragraph is one of those that, like, if Sharon were to submit this to like a contest, oh, she would win. Oh yeah. The very first paragraph, listen to this. Anne looked down on the sleeping form of her new husband and, God help her, he looked like the first man she would murder. Nestled into his arms was the naked body of her maid of honor. Right? Isn't that great? I mean, you're hooked instantly. I mean, you instantly feel sorry for Anne. You instantly want to murder this guy, Robert, right? Very well done. So this book, I mean, takes off at a quick clip right away. I mean, we're there with Anne. We empathize with Anne. We go with Anne to Tuscany on her honeymoon, and she gets bitten by this like femme fatale, horrible vampire woman, right? And this femme fatale, horrible vampire woman bites her and wants to kill her because the horrible, awful vampire woman named Maya overhears Marcus, our, hero. She overhears Marcus saying out loud, oh my gosh. I mean, he sees Anne and he's like, oh my gosh, that's my fated female. That's the woman I'm supposed to be with. I love her at first sight, right? And Maya is like, oh no, you don't. I'm going to go kill her because Maya is this horrible, awful, femme fatale, villainous woman vampire who wants Marcus. So we've got that tension right off the bat. We've got that tension between Maya and Anne and Marcus and all these characters. So that plot is there. I mean, I don't want you guys to think that this is just some torrid, erotic thing, right? No, there's a plot there. And when Maya gets her comeuppance, it's awesome. The ending of the book comes about through this working with the the government of the vampires, that council of vampires, and that's nicely done. So I want to say that even though the amount of sex going on in there wasn't my cup of tea, the plot was my cup of tea, and might be that cup of tea for you too. So there we go. Honeymoon Bite by Sharon Hamilton. Good vampires. And so I don't know if I would recommend it because of all the sex, but I would recommend it because of the plot and the vampires. So there you go. That's it. I'm in a hurry. I gotta go to a thing that's happening in like 3 minutes. So I've got to move on. You guys, a thumbs up because vampires are cool. And if you enjoy this at all, follow along, hit the bell notification icon so that you are notified each time I do this random, quirky, crazy stuff. Thanks for tuning in, you guys.